Welcome. The topic we'll be discussing in this lecture is segmentation. So in the last lecture, we have discussed about contiguous memory allocation, and we have discussed that contiguous memory allocation may create two types of problems. One is internal fragmentation, the other one is external fragmentation. Internal fragmentation will be created when the memory is divided into fixed size partitions, and external fragmentation will be created when the memory is divided into variable size partition. One of the solution for external fragmentation is compaction. There are also other solutions for external fragmentation. External fragmentation can be avoided by allowing the processes to occupy the memory in a non-contiguous way. And that is achieved through the techniques called as segmentation and paging. So in this topic, we'll be discussing about segmentation. So before going to the actual topic, we should understand one thing. The memory view of the user or the programmer is different from the actual physical memory view. Okay, how a programmer views the memory, that will be different from how the actual physical memory exists. Okay, so segmentation basically it does a mapping from the user view of memory to the actual physical memory. So this is what, in brief, what segmentation does. Okay, the memory which is viewed by a programmer will be somewhat different rather than the actual physical memory. So segmentation, what it does in the sense, it maps the programmer's view of memory to the actual physical memory or physical address. Okay. So how a programmer views the memory? A programmer views the memory as a collection of segments. A programmer views the memory as a collection of segments. Okay. So what is a segment? What is a segment? A segment is nothing but a basic block of a program. Okay. So typically if you write a program, what a program will contain? A program will have a main method or main function. It will have some procedures or functions or methods or objects, local variables, global variables, block, stack, symbol table, arrays. So these are the typical logical units of a program. Okay. So each logical unit will be considered as one segment. Each logical unit will be treated as one segment. That is how a programmer views the memory. So programmer, how he thinks in the sense, he thinks the memory is something, a bunch of memories available, and maybe the main program will occupy some unit. Okay, that he will consider as one segment. Maybe he may call it a segment 1. He may assume, and some other procedure may occupy some other part of memory, and he may assume that that is segment 2. Okay, like that. Maybe stack may be stored somewhere else, and that he may consider segment 3. So this is the view of, so this is how actually the programmer views the memory. The programmer views the memory as multiple segments, where each segment is a logical unit of a particular program. Now, this is because for a programmer perspective, this is convenient for him. For a programmer perspective, this view is convenient because this is how he write a program. The program has main function, other procedures. It has local variables, global variables. So a programmer feels convenient to view the memory in this way. But in reality, that is not the case. In reality, the memory is nothing but it is an array of bytes. In reality, the memory is an array of bytes. It is a collection of several bytes. Okay. So this, whatever the programmer is assuming as segment 1 may be stored at some particular address in the memory, starting at some address and ending at some address. Okay. Similarly, whatever the programmer is assuming as segment 2, that will be stored starting at some address and it will be ending at some address. Okay. So there should be a software which maps this logical view to the actual physical view. Okay. So this is the programmer's view of address, uh, programmer's view of memory, which is called as logical address, which is called as logical address. Whereas this is the actual physical address. Whereas this is how actually the memory looks like. So there should be some mechanism which converts the logical address to physical address. And that conversion process is called as segmentation. Okay. So this is the overall view about segmentation. Fine. So as we already discussed, this is how a programmer views the memory. Okay, memory is the total memory is available, and some part of memory is occupied by one subroutine, and some other part is the stack is stored, and somewhere else symbol table is stored, somewhere else the main program is stored, somewhere else some other function is stored. Okay, so each block is treated as one segment. Each block is treated as one segment. So this is how a user or a programmer view the memory, okay, or program. So that is how the program is stored in the memory. So this is how the programmer or a user feels that this is how the programs are stored in the memory. So this type of understanding or representation is called as logical addressing. This type of understanding or representation is called as logical addressing. Okay. But in reality, that is not the case. So whatever the user feels as segment 1, that may be stored in one particular location of physical memory. Here 1 means not one location, it may be stored in a sequence of locations. Okay. And whatever the programmer considered as segment 2, that may be stored at some other consecutive location, starting from one address and ending at one particular address. Okay. So segment 1 is starting at this address, some address, and it is ending at this particular address. Okay. Similarly, segment 2 is starting at this address and it is ending at this particular address. Okay. So in between there may be many locations. Similarly, segment 3 is stored here, starting from one address and ending at some other address. And segment 4 is stored here. Okay. There are some other segments in between which are either free or it may be occupied by some other processes. Okay. So this is, but in reality, this is how the programs or the segments were stored in the memory. Okay. But this is how the user or the programmer views the memory, right? So there should be someone who converts this logical address to physical address. So that conversion process is called as segmentation. Okay. So now let us see how this segmentation happens. Fine. So logical addressing consists of basically two things. So as we see in the previous diagram, this is how the user or a programmer sees the memory. Okay. And this type of understanding the memory is called as, or this type of representing the memory is called as logical addressing. And this logical address contains two things. One is the segment name and the other one is the offset. One is the segment name, the other one is the offset. Okay. Segment name means name of the segment. What is this segment? You can give some name. Say this segment may be main program. Then I'll call this as main program. This is a procedure 1. Then this segment is procedure 1. Okay. This is procedure 2. Then this is procedure 2. Then the name of this segment is procedure 2. Say this is stack. So the name of the segment is stack, like that. What is offset? Offset is segment name will refer to the starting address of the segment. Segment name will refer to the starting address of that particular segment in the memory. Okay. So if this segment is starting at address, if segment 1 is starting at address 2000, then the segment name, its segment name is main program. So main program will just refer to the address 2000. But main program might have stored starting from 2000 to maybe some 2050 locations. Okay, right? So the main program, let us assume it is stored starting from the address 2000 to 2050. Then what is this offset? Offset specifies exactly which location you want to access. So if offset is 10, then the starting address will be added with 10. So 2000 plus 10 is 2010, which will come somewhere here. So it means that currently you want to access the location 2010, right? So a logical address always contains two things. One is the segment number and the other one is the segment name, the other one is the offset. Okay. But again, always using segment name is not possible, or it is not convenient. So instead of segment name, we use segment number. For every segment name, a number will be given. If you see in the previous first diagram, all segments are named. This is called a subroutine, this is called a stack, this is called a symbol table, this is main program, this is square root. But here if you see, everything is numbered because naming is not that convenient while programming, right? So the segment names are for our convenience, it is converted to numbers, okay? So that segmentation can be done easily, okay? So a logical address always contains two things. One is the segment number and the other one is the offset. The logical address always contains two things. One is the segment number and the other one is the offset. Okay, right. And then there will be something called a segment table. There will be something called a segment table. Okay, so there is a segment table. Using this segment table only we can map the logical address to physical address. So what is this segment table? What is the segment table in the sense? The segment table, basically it contains two columns. The segment table contains two columns. It can have n number of rows. Number of rows, it depends. Okay, it depends on totally the memory contains how many segments, like that, right? So it can have n number of rows. So what are the two columns? In the sense, the first column represents the offset. First column represents the offset, which is represented as D. Okay, and the second column represents the base register value or the starting address of a particular segment. Okay, the first column refers to the offset, which is represented as D, and the second column refers to the base or the starting address. Okay, sorry. Okay, the first column is not offset. The first column is limit. First column is limit, and the second column represents base or the starting address of a particular segment. Okay, and then so here there will be some. For example, here the 0th row represents 0th segment. First row represents first segment. Second row represents second segment. Okay. Third row represents third segment. Fourth row represents fourth segment. Like that, it goes on, right? Now let us assume that, okay, here 0th segment is not shown. Okay, so let us assume there is no 0th segment. So first segment, let us assume the starting address of the first segment is 2000. Okay, its starting address is 2000. Say its ending address is 3000. So which means it is from 2000 to 2099. So that is the meaning, right? 1000 locations. So then for the segment 1, so here it is segment 1. Segment 1 base value will be 2000. Segment 1 base value will be 2000, and its limit value will be 1000. Its limit value will be 1000, because totally it can address how many locations? 1000 location, from 2000 to 3000. Okay. Okay. So its base value will be 2000 and its limit value will be 1000, right? Okay. Okay. Similarly, let us say that segment 2, say its starting address is 6000. Say segment 2's starting address is 6000. Say it is going up to 6500. So it is going up to 6500. So in this case, its base register value will be 6000. Its base location value will be 6000, and its limit value will be 500. Its limit value will be 500. Limit also represents length. How much? What is the length? Okay. So its limit will be 500. Okay. Similarly, if you take segment 3, it is starting at 6500. Say it is going up to 8500. 8500. So its base value will be 6500. Its base value will be 6500, and its limit value will be 2000. Okay, 6500 plus 2000 is 8500. So its limit value will be 2000. Okay. So this is how the base register and the limit register's content will be filled up. Okay. Now what happens in the sense? Now what happens in the sense? The CPU will generate a logical address. CPU will generate a logical address. CPU will not directly generate a physical address. So in this case, the logical address will have two parts. One is the segment number and the offset. So if the segment number is say if the segment number is say 2, segment number is 2, and the offset is say 100, say offset is 100. Okay, then what will happen? Segment 2, it will map in the segment table. What is segment 2? What is the segment 2's base address? 6000. Okay, then take 6000. Okay, it takes 6000. And then what is the offset? Offset is 100. Okay, but before taking the offset, it will check whether the offset is less than the limit or not. What is the corresponding limit? 500. Yes, offset is less than limit. If offset is less than limit, then it is a valid address. Otherwise, it will be an invalid address. Okay. First, it will find the segment number, and then it will check. First, it will check the offset, whether the offset is less than limit. If the offset is less than limit, then only it will proceed. Okay. Because if offset is not less than limit, then it becomes an invalid address. In this case, offset is less than limit. So take the corresponding base address. So segment 2's base address as of the segment table, this is segment table. Okay. This table is nothing but segment table, 6000. So now 6000, as the offset is less than limit, add offset to the base address. So what you get? 6000 plus 100, which is nothing but 6100. So it means that this particular logical address 2, 100, where 2 represents the segment number and 100 represents the offset, it basically maps to this particular physical address, which is nothing but 6100. Okay. So in brief, this is how segmentation works. Suppose if offset is greater than limit, suppose instead of 100, if it is 600 here, then it checks offset is greater than limit. Then it will create a trap. Okay, trap is trap is a hardware interrupt, right? So this is the whole process of segmentation. Okay? So there will be a segment table which maps the 2-dimensional logical address to 1-dimensional physical address. Okay. So the segment table, what it does in the sense, the logical address is 2-dimensional. It maps the 2-dimensional logical address to 1-dimensional physical address. Physical address is 1-dimensional. There is only one dimension. It does not have two things. It has only one address, right? So the segment table contains what? It contains each row of the segment table contains base and limit. So base contains the starting physical address of a particular segment, like where it is residing in the memory. And limit specifies the length of that particular segment. Okay. So this base value of a particular segment is also called a segment table base register. Okay. So the segment table base register points to the segment table's location in the memory. Yeah, right. So that is, see, the entire segment table is divided into two columns, right? So first column represents the limit and the second column represents the base address. Okay. So a specific segment table base register. So this is the segment table base register. Every second column is a segment table base register for a particular segment. So this is the segment table base register for 0th segment. Okay, and this is the segment table base register for the first segment. So this points to the particular segment's starting location. Okay, and the STLR segment table length register indicates the number of segments used by the program. So this specifies the starting address and this specifies the length. Starting from that address, how many uh, how many how many locations that particular segment is allowed to access. Okay, fine. So yeah, so CPU will create a logical address, and this logical address will contains two things. One is the segment number, the other one is the offset. Segment number is represented as S and offset is represented as D. D represents displacement. Offset is otherwise called as displacement. Okay. So S is the index to the segment table. S is the index to the segment table because if you recollect, the segment table contains base and limit values. But how will you connect this particular S value? Because there is an index 0, 1, 2. Okay. So if S is 2, then it refers to this segment. Then it means you have to take this particular base address. Okay. So S is the index to the segment table and D is the offset, and D should be greater than or equal to 0 and it should be less than limit, not less than or equal to. D should be greater than or equal to 0 and it should be less than limit. If it is not that case, then it will create a trap. Then the hardware itself will create a trap and that becomes an illegal memory access. Okay. If the value of D is legal, that is, if the value of D is between 0, if it is greater than or equal to 0 and less than limit, then the base content will be added with the then the offset D will be added with the base register to create the actual physical address, right? So this is the whole process. I think it's clear. So the CPU will create a logical address which contains the segment number and the offset. The segment number is an index to the segment table, and the value of offset should be greater than or equal to 0 and it should be less than the segment limit. If it is greater than or equal to 0 and less than the segment limit, then add the offset with the segment with the base register content to create the actual physical address. Okay, suppose if the value of offset is greater than the limit or equal to limit, then the hardware will create a trap and that becomes an illegal memory access. Okay, fine. This diagram, it shows how actually all these things works. So as we have already discussed, the CPU will create a logical address, and this logical address contains two things. It contains a segment number and the offset. So first, what you check, in the sense you check whether the offset is less than or equal to that particular segment's limit value. So this particular S, it refers to some segment number. So if S is K, then this is kth segment. Okay, then this is kth segment. So segments are numbered from 0 to, say segments are numbered from 0 to n minus 1. Totally there are n segments, means then it will be from 0 to n minus 1. So in between there is a segment k. So for kth segment, what is the limit you take? And check whether the limit value is less than d or not. If it is less than d, then go to the next step. If it is not less than d, then create an trap. That is an hardware error which says it is an illegal memory access. Okay, if it is less than d, sorry, if d is nothing but offset. If offset is less than limit, then continue. If offset is greater than or equal to limit, then create a trap. If it is less than, if the offset d is less than limit, then take the appropriate base register value and add it with the offset. That will give the actual physical address. Okay, so this is how the logical address is converted to physical address using segmentation. Okay. So here is a complete example. We can see, so there are several, here the segment name is also given and segment number is also given. But finally we use segment numbers, we ignore the segment names. So segment 0 is subroutine, segment 1 is square root function, segment 2 is main program, segment 3 is tag, and segment 4 is symbol table. Okay, and this is the segment table. So segment table contains entries for all the 5 segments starting from 0 to 4. Okay, so segment 0's base register is 1400. So that is its starting at address 1400 and its limit is 1000. That is it ends at 2400. That is it can access from 1400 to 2399. Okay, segment 1 starting address is 6300. Okay, segments 1 starting address is 6300 and its length is 400. That is up to 6700. That is actually it can access up to 6699, right? Okay. Similarly, all other things. Segment 2 starting address is 4300 and it can access up to 4700. So its limit is again 400. Segment 3 starting address is 3200 and its limit is 1100. That is up to 4300. And similarly for segment 4. Okay. Now we have some questions. If S is equal to 2 and D equal to 53, this will map to what? So S equal to 2 means what? So segment, so this is the logical address which is created by the CPU with S equal to 2 and D equal to 53. So S equal to 2 means the base address value is 4300. So basically it is referring to here. Okay. Now you take the D value, D is 53. What is the corresponding L value? What is the corresponding limit value? 400. So 53 is less than 400. 53 is less than 400. So it is a legal address. So just add 4300 with 53. So what you get is 4353. So this will be the actual physical address which will come somewhere here. Okay. Then if S equal to 3 and D equal to 852, what it will map? So S is 3. S is 3 means starting address is 3200. Okay, the base address is 3200. So basically it refers to this location. And D is 122. D is 852. D is 852. So for S is equal to 3, what is the limit value? 1100. So D is 852. So 852 is less than 1100. So it is a valid address. So just add 3200 plus 852. 3200 plus 852 is 4052. So this is the actual physical address which is going to access the location 4052. Okay. Next, S is equal to 0 and D is equal to 1222. So S equal to 0 represents the base address 1400. So it is basically refers to this particular starting address or the base address. And D is 1222. But what is the limit? 1000. So 1222 is not less than 1000. It is greater than 1000. So basically this is an illegal access. So this will create a trap. So this will create a trap as it is a illegal access. So basically it won't be converted into any physical address because this particular code is trying to access a illegal memory location. So it will create a hardware interrupt called trap. Okay. Next, S is equal to 0 and D is equal to 500. S is equal to 0 is again 1400. The starting address is 1400. D is equal to 500. Is 500 less than the respective limit value? Yes, limit is 1000. 500 is less than 1000. So 1400 plus 500. So this will create the location 1000. This will create the physical address 1900. So this will access the location 1900. Okay. If S is equal to 4 and D is equal to 300. So S is equal to 4 refers to the base address 4700. That is this particular address. This is starting address 4700, segment 4. And D is equal to 300. So what is the corresponding limit value? 1000. So 300 is D is less than limit? Yes, 300 is less than 1000. So just add 4700 plus 3000, which is nothing but 5000. So the physical address generated here will be 5000. So this particular logical address is mapped to the physical address 5000. Okay. So this is how a two-dimensional logical address is mapped to a one-dimensional physical address. So you can see there is a two-dimensional for logical address. There is a S and D, and it is finally mapped to a one-dimensional physical address by using the segmentation. Okay. And you can observe here, the segments are not stored in contiguous location. They are stored in different locations. Segment 0 is stored here. Segment 1 is stored here. They are not contiguous. Okay. Segment 2 is stored here. Okay. So basically segmentation uses do not store the contents in contiguous locations. Okay. So this is about segmentation. Fine. So let us stop here. Thank you.